Hello, my name is Lisa from Crop with Lisa on YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to talk about making invitation-sized cards from 12 by 12 paper. Because if you're a scrapbooker, you probably have a lot of this paper in your stash and you'd like to make some cards. Now before I was calling this invitation-sized card an A2 card, but there's a lot of confusion out there in the world. So from now on, I'll be calling them invitation-sized cards. And that seems to go along with the envelopes that you get from Staples or Columbian. They call them invitation envelopes, and they're made for this size card. The first option I'm going to talk about is what I'm calling option 1. And that's where you make 2 true invitation-sized cards. Now a true invitation-sized card, which I was calling A2 previously, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Unfortunately, you can only get 2 true A2 size or invitation size cards out of a 12 by 12 paper. Now you can make a small business size card with the remaining scrap and have this much left over. So it's up to you. This is a great choice for beginners who don't want to make a mistake. It's better for formal events, better for business events, better for anything formal. You can't go wrong using option 1. If you don't want small business size cards, however, you'll have a big chunk of paper left over. So if this is the option that you think you want to use, then you will want to click on the link I provide right here in this video to take you to my video where I cut formal size invitation cards from 12 by 12 cardstock. If you're still here in my video, you've decided that you'd rather have 3 invitation size cards even if they're not the official size. But you have a lot to gain from a little bit of card size change with a 12 by 12 paper. Now I want to call your attention to the fact that when I go to stores these days, the big box stores, like Hobby Lobby and Recollections is the Michaels line, you're not really buying 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cards anymore. You're buying 4-inch by 5 1/2 cards. A lot of times you won't notice. I wouldn't do this for a very formal event, but for casual cards, this is probably a great option. And the reason why they're doing that, one of the reasons, 4 inches by 5 1/2, is at the post office, the size 10 envelope is the king. These are the standard business envelopes that go through the mail every day. And these are 4 1/8 inch high. So you could fit one of these new cards into a business envelope. Don't think you'd want to, but you can see why the post office would really appreciate us all going to a 4-inch size. It makes their life easier. So, as scrapbookers using 12 by 12 paper, we gain a lot by going to 4 inches wide instead of 4 1/4, because 4, 8, 12, you get 3, I'm going to call them new invitation size or new A2 cards out of 1 12 by 12 paper. The easiest new invitation size or new A2 size card to cut from 12 by 12 paper are 3 landscape cards. This is a great idea if you like the easiest cutting method or if all your cards have to be the same. For instance, you're doing a group craft where you want everyone to have the same thing. So you can cut 3 new invitation size cards, 4 inches by 5 1/2, and have a 1 inch by 12 inch strip left over. So not too much waste. The cutting guide looks like this, and I will point you with a link to the video on how to cut these cards. Last but not least is what I'm calling option 3. And the more serious and the more experience you get with card making, this is probably going to be the option you want. Because this portrait, I'm calling this a portrait, this portrait shaped card is actually what is most desirable when you make cards. Landscape is okay, but most people like the portrait. And if you can go to the new invitation size or the new A2 size, you can get 3 cards. Unfortunately, 2 are portrait. You have to always have 1 landscape, so they're not the same. But at least you have very little paper left over, a 1 by 12 inch strip again. This is the cutting guide that I made for this option. You can see the 2 portrait cards, and the landscape card is cut like that. So if this is the option that you would like, I'm going to point you to a video on how to do this. If this is the first time you've seen a couple different options for cutting invitation-sized cards from 12 by 12 paper, you may have a little confusion between the first option and the third option. So I can show you the cards together and you can see the differences. Remember, the blue is option 1, and these are the formal invitation-sized cards, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is the new A2 size, where it's 4 inches by 5 1/2, not 4 1/4, 4. So you can see it readily in the portrait size. I'm calling these the portrait cards. And you can see you've lost 1/4 of an inch. So these are definitely shorter than this, the original. And the landscape, you can really see the difference. This is a full size, invitation size card. It's the same as the portrait, same exact size. However, compare it to the landscape made with option 1. This is a small business size card. And you can see it's not as wide. Now this length is optional, of course. I left this 6 1/2 inches versus 5 1/2 inches because it fits into a small business size envelope. These are the small business size envelopes. And here's the box that goes with it. These are the small business size. And instead of wasting the paper, if I needed official invitation size cards, I would just go ahead and make an additional small business size card to use in the future. Now I can show you that's not going to fit. So I can also show you, and here's another comparison using the invitation envelopes that I do buy from Staples. These will hold official A2 size invitation size cards. So if you put them in the envelope, you'll see the blue card looks like it fits in there perfectly. It has a very nice look. The purple card, which is a bit shorter, I still use these envelopes. It doesn't look quite as nice. A lot of times you're not going to mind, but if it's a formal event or official business kind of event, you are going to care. So there's the difference on the width. Well, thank you for joining me. Good luck on your card project. Have a wonderful day.